Okay, we're finally ready to get started. Antigua Shipyard. nAni showing some extremely strong play. And Ciara said, yes, correct version. It is indeed the correct version. We've confirmed this.
All right, let's go.
Mad.
No GG, son. There was no GG. That's
well,
stuff.
Yes, if we were to read out what Kiara was actually calling nAni in the chat, then it would suddenly become an X-rated stream.
It would be indeed.
Mad. All right.
nAni was teasing.
Why not? Kiara's already obviously tilted after that additional loss, so I don't see why not. Why don't you, instead of insulting each other, start the damn game?
I know, it's like, make me host.
Oh, God.
These guys.
I'm half tempted to show this on stream just because it's quite entertaining.
You could. Oh, they're going to see it anyway. Look at the top right.
Oh, yeah, they'll see it. The guys in the audience know what's going on.
These kids, no respect. Huck and Sasse agree, no respect.
Yeah. Huck would never BM like this.
These kids.
God.
They know each other from Warcraft 3, so a little bit of banter here.
Yeah, it's a definite excuse for driving us behind schedule.
I know, it's like, by the way, guys, if you didn't know, by the way, nAni, by the way, Kiara, we are 30 minutes behind schedule. Why don't you spend half an hour chatting?
Yes, and none of it was due to Goody either, so, you know, it's really bad when that happens. Ladies and gentlemen, it's my pleasure to bring you Kiara from the Team Incredible Panic. He is in the red trunks, and he is playing Zerg to the east of the Antigua Shipyard versus his opponent right there in the cross position. It is Complexity Gaming's nAni. He is in the green trunks playing Protoss to the west.
And this map is a relatively defensive map for Protoss, we mentioned before, simply because it's relatively easy to kind of control this center area and then take a third base.
Yep.
On the other hand, this map we've seen exploited by players like Stefano, who go super aggressive, because once these rocks have been destroyed down, you have to defend here, and you also have to defend from stuff going into the natural area. So it becomes kind of hard to deal with it, depending on how both players are going to play out this game. Kiara, though, is not somebody that's played that much recently. I mean, he plays ladder here and there, but doesn't really compete that often. So his metagame knowledge might not even be up to scratch. I mean, he didn't even know the map pool for the tournament. You know, that kind of sets the tone.
That's not a great start, let's be honest.
I know, it's like, all right, well, you know, it's kind of helpful to know the map pool.
We should have just said Cool Ass Ravine just to troll him.
And nAni was playing ultra safe, you know, pylon on higher ground, 12 gateway. Doesn't want to take any risks, especially against a player that he knows is inferior to himself, so there's no need to take a gamble.
Yeah, that pull was actually a bit early there. I think it went down on 13 supply.
I mean, this map is usually Forge Fast Expand, as we're probably looking at that a lot of the time here. But recent players come down to where, because it is cross position, you can actually go ahead and go for an early spawner pool and get away with some cheeky maneuvers with Zerglings early on. But it's not really going to work out too much here. And even if the spawner pool is down relatively early, it doesn't necessarily mean aggression.
Yeah, he hasn't got gas anyway.
I mean, even if it was, I mean, usually it's just so he can clear the pylon and probe from the natural and then continue like normal. As you can see, that's rather frustrating, so he's going to have to build like 4 links to get rid of that very, very shortly here.
Yep, no doubt. And nAni just dips in there, sees what he sees. He sees the spawning pool. He may have noticed the timing. He may not. It's only very slightly early there, and the cancellation on the pylon. nAni just doesn't really want to bother with that. He's already forced the 4 links out and then gets the cancel. There's no point in cancelling the building of the links. It wastes the lava, of course. Hatchery does go down. nAni does not prevent that from happening. And I don't think he's really too worried about that at this point.
And need an Overlord, please.
Yep.
It's pretty bad. Okay, there it is.
This actually is a problem that I've been having on the ladder. Unfortunately, I'm in Silver League, and I'm pretty sure Kiara isn't.
No, he's not.
Not for Zerg, at any rate.
It's still a mistake. A little bit. Just, you know, slowing down seconds here and there. Meanwhile, the second gas hasn't come down yet, as you can see. So it's probably going to be, there it is, Stalker being chrono boosted out. We'll probably see a second Stalker, and very similar, pylon on here to actually start the wall off towards the Nexus, which is going to be around there.
Yeah, I think we can say that Kiara wasn't on tilt before this match. He certainly is now, making some fairly silly mistakes early on in the game that a player of his caliber really should not be making. nAni just driving Kiara out of the base once again. No real concern there of any description. Doesn't get a huge amount of information. Does see a pylon going down on the lower ground, but that is really about it. Overlord is now coming into position.
And we have, well, Kiara's taken off gas now, so he's just mineral only. That's going to enable them to get a third queen really fast from this base, and also should be transferring very, very soon. But the problem comes with that this Zealot Stalker and second Stalker, which is on its way eventually, is going to be able to do a bit of pressure here and there, and he's not really prepared for it. He has a few slowlings, but they're not really going to be able to do anything. They're going to be able to hold off for a while. But the thing is that nAni's forcing these units out and can very easily fall back because he personally knows the timings of when Zergling speed is going to be done. So even if he loses the Zealot, he's forced a lot of lings out and can easily micro to get some deaths to kind of revenge that.
Yeah, he doesn't have to worry too much, and obviously Lings do move at exactly the same speed as the Stalker, so he does have to be careful, but he'll be able to tank most of the damage on the shields right there, and the pylon does go down there near the destructible debris at the bottom. That has not yet been scouted. Second Stalker moving in. This is playing out very similar to the previous game, although more Lings have been forced out this time around, and I have to wonder if that's a deliberate tactic there by nAni simply saying, oh yeah, I'm going to do the same thing again. You better be building Lings, son.
Well, his Stalker control's that good. He hasn't lost them. He's taking a little bit of health on this one. But all of a sudden, 3 Zealots are going to come in, which is just outside. Okay, he's going to see it now. So he knows it's coming once again, so he's actually prepared for this. Look at this, 20 Lings already in production. He's got more than enough to deal with this. And can actually just go ahead and counterattack.
Yeah,
he could potentially just win the game here and there.
Yeah, he's going to be really, really careful, that being nAni. But honestly, I think Kiara is a little bit, just a little bit cautious.
He's only at 23 drones right now. He's not mining gas. He's just going to crush this.
Yeah.
And he's going to actually just win the game, I think, because there's nothing nAni can do to prevent all these Lings coming. I mean, he can start building sentries, but he hasn't even taken the second gas, so he's literally on 3 sentries after this. And nAni getting a little bit cocky in this game.
Yeah, that's exactly what I was going to say.
Doing the same build twice, looking for, to cheap win again, without really playing straight up, thinking that, I can just win the game here and there. And all of a sudden, despite having this pylon here, which has been scouted, by the way, what's he going to do with 3 sentries to hold this? It's very difficult.
Well, let's find out. Let's see if he can actually pull that one off. Let's see how good his control really is. He does have some force fields, which will limit things. And needless to say, Kiara will try and force cancel right here on this Nexus. And nAni needs to pull it back. He's able to trap a couple of Lings in there and eliminate them here and there. But he needs to start warping in units. And there are drones now coming in from Kiara who's thinking, maybe, just maybe, there might be something crazy coming in, and I can't get into the base anyway, so just throwing Lings at this doesn't seem to make a lot of sense.
Well, he's got the cancellation on the Nexus, which is all he really wants here at the end of the day, because it's going to take such a long time, and look at that, the fourth gateway goes down, second gas as well, so he's now droning up. He also adds a Roach Warrant, and actually back this up with Roaches if need be. Can also deflect a full gate. The thing is, he's only just a second taking that down, so he's in a comfortable position, and more force fields over and over are going to be forced out here by Kiara.
Yeah, the thing is, Kiara's actually losing units, quite a significant amount. nAni's not losing anything, so these force fields are really, really good. They're well-timed, and Kiara's force is starting to peter out. It's taking some damage here and there. Reinforcements aren't really streaming in, so his army's been cut down. It's down to 18 Zerglings now, and nAni keeps all those sentries alive, which is, of course, crucial. And then we've got a Roach War, and potentially just to force his way forward there, droning up heavily behind this. And, of course, nAni does have the problem that he's still only on one base, so where does he go from here?
Yeah, it's really difficult. Basically, he's just going to use 4 gateways to just try to sit on here and try to expand. He could turn the pressure on and just go for it. He could just go for it. Excuse me, I'm still sick. But at the same time, just going for it is going to be very difficult.
It's extremely risky.
Cross position, scouted very early.
Yeah.
It's not going to work out so well. But we do have the layer on its way. So Roach speed can be started very, very soon. We're going to see a 3rd base constructed as well. So all of a sudden, Kiara, despite being the humongous player that's never going to win this game, right? He's not expected to win. And all of a sudden, he's in a great position to actually turn this game around and win it.
Yeah, well, nAni basically handed it to him. That's the problem with using exactly the same tactic over and over again, showing him exactly the same things. And that battle in the center played out in the same way that the first game did. And
is he going to cancel this Nexus, maybe?
He might. So he really is putting a lot of unit pressure on.
There's 2 pylons down at the higher ground. He may cancel it and just go for it. I mean, he already knows he's far behind. He's still at 26 probes.
There's the cancel.
There's the cancel. And all of a sudden,
pressure
stuff's going to get hot.
It is. Kiara's got a very significant supply count, but a lot of that is drones. And that's not a lot of fighting units. It's a lot of Lings. Roaches are on the way. I mean, he's got 7. He's building another 5 as well.
Maybe he droned a little bit too hard. He's at 57 right now. Very, very high. And he may not actually have enough Roaches to hold this.
Yeah, in the meantime, a counterattack is coming in. It will probably force a warp in of a Zealot at least to block that one off. And here comes the pressure right now on the natural expansion of Kiara. And surprise, surprise, a nice little bit of Nexus cancel. Oh, it's a roach pile over there. And there's nothing going to be happening over there for the time being. Kiara taking a huge amount of damage. Sentry Fire coming in, focusing on the Queen. Wants to bring that down quickly as possible, prevent any more injections. The counter-attack from the back doesn't do anything. nAni keeps all of his units alive and continues the pressure in here. Roaches coming in large numbers. I have to wonder if that will be enough, though. Kiara now supply blocked as well. Can't do anything. There's the burrow, and of course, nAni has no answer to burrow right now.
Yeah, I mean, he can't do anything. He's just going to have to try to fight and go for the win. Of course, he has no second Nexus, so he's going to be able to kill Overlords here and there. Supply block, 91 out of 78. 5 Overlords all at once. I think this is actually enough now for nAni to close the game out. It's going to be very tight with Zerglings coming into the mix.
Yeah, that makes a bit of a mess as well. No force field at the back, took a significant amount of damage on his Stalkers there, cancelling a couple of defensive structures. The use of Burrow being used more to deter nAni from going in than anything else. And if he's forced to pull back here without doing significant economic damage to his opponent, this could suck for him. And his opponent's still on 54 drones. So nAni being forced back here, he does know about this third, so I expect he'll go for it right now.
And it looks like we've pretty much have this held on. There's too many roaches now, 10 more, 12 more on the way, and I don't think there's enough, especially with roach speed done and burrow. It's going to be very hard for nAni to actually do anything here. This third base is, irrelevant. It doesn't matter. And if we see drones, I'm going to cry because I don't know why he would ever do that.
Yeah.
But in reality, I mean, this circling is scattered and there is still no expansion. It looks like nAni is just going to try and play on anyway. But I think there's just too many roaches now. Look at the roach count, up to 20.
62 army supply versus 40, not a good thing to do at all, especially with burrowing as well. If Kiara could just micro these even half well, then he's going to regenerate, pop up, pop back down whenever he wants, and nAni has no answer to it. He's got no detection whatsoever. nAni even building a cannon, I think, realizing, oh dear, this is starting to get in a really terrible way for me. And nAni now supply, but he's having to re-expand behind this. The 14-minute mark.
Yeah, and look at these roaches being cut off. Pretty nice force fields, preventing them coming. Actually, these roaches can actually squeeze through, so not that good force fields. But at the same time, he's doing okay. He's controlling his units well. He's losing a lot of sentries, though. He's literally lost like 7 sentries in the past couple of minutes here.
Yeah, this is not going well for him, and Kiara just throwing these inexpensive units at him, and he's not concerned about it at all. Those 54 drones, while it was a bit of a gamble, because he held on, that's given him such a huge lead at this point. The economy speaks for itself. You can see right there on the visual display how crazy this is about to be. And nAni only now expanding. This is very much getting close to being mined out. We're looking for upgrades right now, really late once again for nAni, and Kiara's just saying, hey, you know what, I think it's probably time to just kill you, and let's roll.
Yeah, he just squeezed in a few more drones to kind of saturate that back base. He can basically do anything he wants at this position. The one thing is he's kind of left this pylon, doesn't really know about that. He can go Roachling all in right now and just kind of crush the game down. He can go ahead and go Mutalisk, is fine as well. He literally do anything he wants. He's in a comfortable draw mark now, pushing up to 62 very shortly. He's also getting tunneling claws as well.
Smart, very smart.
The thing is, he's kind of fallen behind in upgrades. He hasn't started +1 yet, which is a little sloppy, but at the same time, how many mistakes can you make when you're this far ahead?
Yeah, that's the worst thing to say, though, because you never know. It is nAni we're talking about here. The supply count speaks for itself. It's now 71, 166. In theory, on paper, nAni can't possibly win this, but you never know.
Well, with Blink and +1, it's going to make a big difference. Despite not having the numbers, it's going to make a difference for sure. These roaches are going to regenerate now as well. More roaches are on the way, and we actually see another hatchery being taken down, another 4th baseman taken down, slowly but surely. The longer this game goes on, the worse it's going to get for nAni.
Yeah, it's a very large wrecking ball of roaches. +1 about to finish. There we go. That should make a little bit of a difference. He does want that blink. He would definitely prefer Kiara not to attack right now, but I don't think he's got a choice in the matter. Kiara could take this Nexus out immediately if he decided to focus fire. He's moving his way, sliding himself around there. He had, honestly, a lot of roaches being killed here. He's going for the probe count and allowing the Stalkers just free reign. Blink's about to finish as well. If nAni gets a good Blink macro in right now, there we go. Blink is now complete. Will he be able to hold up against this? I think he might, honestly. If you look at the numbers right now, it's certainly a possibility, especially if he gets the probes involved in that. Kiara doesn't really have the roach count left. There's the warp in from the back. nAni holds onto it with perfect anti-timing, I think, for Kiara.
It lost like no probes either.
Yeah, that's ridiculous.
But the reinforcements are coming through, and that's going to make a world of difference, to be honest. He can literally just stream roaches over roaches over roaches. The main base is about to mine out, so it's going to knock him back onto one base again. He's not going to be able to produce from these gateways. It's going to get difficult.
Yeah, he lost the opportunity to blink away a bunch of stalkers there as well.
Giving up. He's typing right now. So.
Yeah, pretty much. He's not actually really doing anything. He's got another warped coming in, but there are 14 more roaches crashing across right here, and Kiara is doing massive amounts of damage. nAni forced back. GG, ladies and gentlemen, and Kiara takes that game, surprisingly.
Ties it up. So just looking over that group to see if we've actually had any more results come through for this. And it looks like, we have a single game. Happy is beating Beastie QT 1-0 currently.
Yep.
No other games have been played yet so far. And Phoenix, unfortunately, for people that don't know, has dropped out of the tournament. Actually didn't come.
At the last minute. Not a lot of people knew about that.
So that opens up to an interesting group where two people are going to advance. And that basically gives Cytoplasm or Dabu a really great shot. Being Zerg versus Zerg, Phoenix not being there. That's pretty good. And Phoenix, I was actually rather excited to watch him play.
Yeah, that's really a shame considering, he's been working with IM for so long and we haven't really seen him perform in a lot of tournaments lately. He's been practicing hard. The decision not to come was unfortunate, but yeah, I suppose it happens if you're going to trek all the way across that. But let's talk about that game for a second. So, is that a win for Kiara or was that a loss for nAni? I mean, is that just nAni being a little bit arrogant there and just giving the lead away?
It's a loss for nAni for sure.
Yeah.
I mean, he didn't need to do that stuff. He could have just one-gate expansion and then dealt with it then. I don't know. It was kind of a little bit sloppy.